Hello and welcome to the It's Your Effin' Journey podcast. My name is Melissa Hemming, and if a love coach and a therapist had a baby, you get me. I am coming to you from my car today because I've already tortured my children with the recording of one podcast. So I decided to come in my car and do the other because I want to talk all about this little baby. If you're not watching on YouTube, you can't see my Philly Broad Street 10-miler medal, which is actually pretty cute. I ran the Philly Broad Street 10-miler last Sunday. It's my first time doing this race, and I want to tell you all about it. And I've got a lot to say about it. I knew nothing going into first of all, let's do our song. What time is it? Podcast time. It's a celebration. What time is it? Podcast time. I also just recorded another episode that you will hear next week. And I'm all in my feels. Like, I think I cried the whole time. I think I'm just an emotional mess these days, which I'm all about, feeling all the feels, working through all the feels. Trying to dim all the feels. No, I'm just kidding. Trying to work on all of it. But so I didn't know anything about this race leading up to it. I just knew that people loved it. So it's a lottery. You have to enter the lottery. And again, it's a 10-mile race. So I think 10-mile races are really cool because they are a great challenge for beginner runners or maybe people who have no interest in running longer miles or even running a half marathon, but it's a great way to challenge yourself and do a longer distance. And for this race in particular, I think one of the draws is it's doing a larger race with less miles, right? And if you've heard my race recap of the New York City half marathon, feel like that to me, the greatest thing about that race is that it is the feel of a world major marathon with half the miles. So if you're someone who's like, I'd love to know what a world major feels like, the crowds, the energy, the yelling of your name, the fucking drama of it all. If you're like, I want to experience that, but I don't want to fucking run a marathon, that's the race that you do. Or a race like this, the Philly Broad Street 10-miler race, because you get the feel of a big ass race without the mileage. So I entered the lottery with a couple friends. I got in, my friend Donna got in, and my friend Rachel got in. My friend Melissa did not get in, sadly. Very sad. So the plan was me, Rachel, and Donna were going to this race. Now, I had met Donna on social media years and years ago. She's been a member of my Fit family for years. I feel like we've known each other our whole lives because we've known each other and been friends for so long, but we never met in person. So Philly was going to be our time to meet. And Rachel was going to meet Donna for the first time. I get to hang out with Rachel. So much fun all around. So we decided to go into Philly Saturday. The race was on Sunday. And honestly, this is probably one of my biggest regrets is we should have stayed way longer. Philly is such a fucking fun city. I ran the Philly half, I think maybe 2018. Possibly 2017. That was a great race. Went to Philly actually for my last girls trip before COVID shut the world down. We did the 10 rounds. Was a Beachbody program, was a boxing program. 1, 2, hook, 3. No. 3, hook, 5. I don't know. Anyways, we did the 10 rounds Philly bus stop with Joel Freeman of 10 rounds. We did that. That was so much fun. It was funny. I'll always tell that story because I remember being like, shit, like, should I go? I've got this trip to Punta Cana at the end of March. Maybe, Tucker's going to kill me for, going on 2 trips, and then the world shut, never went to Punta Cana, and I was so fucking glad I went to Philly. So you always take the trip, my friends. You always take the trip. Say yes to all the experiences, because you never know where life's going to take you. The world could fucking shut down. And then I wouldn't have gone to Philly, and I wouldn't have done the 1, 2. Okay. So we decide to read the email that says the expo closes at 6. So we decided to shoot to meet in Philly around 2 p.m. on Saturday. So that's exactly what we did. I had no drama traveling, luckily. And it's like a probably like a 4.5 hour drive for me. So I left at like 10 in the morning. I got to Philly, I think at like 2:30, and we met at the hotel. We grabbed a hotel actually, we were staying in Gayborhood. I had no idea that Gayborhood existed. I just knew the minute I parked and I got out and was walking to the hotel, I'm like, I love this place. So I only figured out it was called Gayborhood a while later from my Strava map. It said Gayborhood, and I was like, no wonder I love it so much. It's fucking Gayborhood. Rainbows everywhere, trans flags everywhere. So fun. So fun. And which also brings me to like why I wished we were in Philly for longer, because there's so much to do. It's such a cute little city. We met outside the hotel. We met Donna. She's adorable in person as ever. And let me tell you this, because this is the It's Your Effin' Journey podcast, and we were just featured in a magazine, Women Who Podcast, in April. I couldn't believe it. I met Rachel in the parking garage, and she was like, I have something for you. And she handed, now, remember what I said in the beginning of this episode? I have been an emotional wreck. I think I cried 75% of the way to Philly. I just have had a lot of feelings going on. I've had a lot going on in my little brain and in my little heart. I've had a lot of shit to process. So I cried 75% of the way to Philly. It felt amazing. I think I just needed it. I think I just needed like a release, and I got it. Then I get to the parking garage, and Rachel's like, I have something for you. And she hands me, I don't even know what size picture frame this is. It's like a fucking poster of my article in the Women Who Podcast magazine. Framed the entire article for me. It was the kindest, most thoughtful gift ever. And then I cried again. I thought I might just lay on the parking garage floor in a fetal position because of how nice this gift was. I put it on the mantle of my house, because it takes me a really long time so I put it on the mantle of my house, and Kaylin's home, my oldest, from college now, and she's like, who made that for you? She said that yesterday, and I was like, isn't that the nicest thing you've ever seen in your life? It was the nicest thing. So thank you, Rachel. Rachel has been an advocate for this podcast from the beginning. She shares the episodes every single week. I'm so grateful for, the one thing that you can always do for someone in business is share and like and comment on their posts. And Rachel, I swear to God, every single podcast she shares, every single post I have, she comments. She is the best hype girl. So thank you, Rachel. You keep me going on days that I feel like I don't have it in. It is you and everyone else who listens, but I know you specifically because you show the fuck up for me. It keeps me going. So thank you for that gift and for making me cry again. So she gave me that wonderful gift. I really wanted to carry it all throughout the streets of Philly because I was so impressed with it, but I had to leave it in my car, sadly. And we went and met Donna and got in our hotel room and made our way to the expo. So the expo was only like a mile, I think. It was like a mile walk from our hotel. So we walked through Gayborhood down to the expo. Expo was a little sad. So it's the Philly 10-mile run down Broad Street. I didn't quite click this until I saw the map later, but it is literally just like a one shot down Broad Street. Like, that's it. There's no turns. There's nothing. So I don't know if that's why they didn't have a map at the expo, but I'm always used to sort of going to an expo. You see places to take your photos. You see different vendors. You see, obviously where you get your bib, where you get your t-shirt, all this shit. And they didn't have a map. They didn't have a map up at the expo. So we were like, what does the course map look like? And they were like, well, you got to check it out online. So we knew we would check it out online. Again, it's just a straight shot down Broad Street. So it's really not much to see in terms of a course map. But I think for like newbies like me, it still would be helpful. So the volunteers at the expo were definitely going to suggest that to the race directors to have a course map there. It's flat. It's fast. And it's also, what I learned on the way to this race is that it's 40,000 people. So that is the same size as a world major marathon. 40,000 runners. I think London has over 50, but 40,000 I think is comparable to like the Boston Marathon, Chicago Marathon. Like, it is fucking huge. I think for anybody who, again, if you, and I want to like be careful how I say this, because I don't want to be like a snobby marathon runner. And I mean this because if you are like me who loves running world majors, this is a lot for 10 miles. It's a lot for 10 miles. Also, again, I want you to take that with a grain of salt, because I also wish I spent more time in Philly. So like getting to Philly on Friday and staying to Monday, I think would have been perfect, just because there's so much to do in Philly. And I think having more time would allow for some flexibility with the race shenanigans, being that it's 10 miles, if that makes sense. Again, this is perfect for someone who is either a beginner runner who wants that feel of a world major, or maybe if you're staying longer in Philly, whatever. Take that for what it is. Okay, so we went to the expo. The course map wasn't there. They also didn't have a lot of places to take photos, so that was a little bit weird, but we found some that worked and, had a nice time at the expo. I bought some socks for Debbie. Debbie likes to buy socks at expos, so I bought some socks. They were like really a good price too, so I was happy about that. They're pink and white and cute. So we walked through some place that had a lot of food options. We decided to go get something to eat. We found a cute little Italian restaurant. We sat on the street. It was probably like 60 degrees, 70 maybe. So it was a beautiful day. We shared some pizza. We shared some rice balls. Those were delicious. I love my balls. We just had a little nice time sitting and talking and getting to know each other in person, because as I said, even though I have known Donna for so long, it's just so cool to hang out and just get to know each other. So we did that, and then we went back to our hotel, and we had to be in our corrals at 6:45 the next morning. So we knew that we were going to take an Uber to the race start, and it was going to probably take us like a half hour. So we knew we had to get to bed early. And this was also sad, because we got back to our hotel room. I actually walked to CVS to get little elastics, because I was going to do bubble braids in my hair for the first time. And we got in bed by like 8 o'clock. I think I was sleeping by 9 o'clock. And our alarm was set 4:30 so that we could get up, poop, get dressed, do our hair, do our glitter, all that jazz, and get in our Uber. And we scheduled I shouldn't say Uber. I keep saying Uber and I mean Lyft. Uber supports Donald Trump, so we don't use Uber anymore. We use Lyft. But I always say Uber, but I mean Lyft. So I scheduled our Lyft for Sunday morning. I forget what time. I think 5:50. That makes me laugh, because I told Allison the other day I was meeting her at a parking lot to take her to like our running club, and I said, meet me at 5:37, and she was like, really? Like, not 5:36, not 5:38? And I said, no, 5:37. So anyways, our Uber was going to get there at 5:50. Oh, we also did a cute little reel, and I made them do a reel. That was fun. So anyways, we got up, did our shit, went to bed. Oh, this is what I was going to say. When we were going to bed the night before, all of this activity was happening outside our hotel room in Philly. So much action. There was a van with karaoke on it. I was like, we should have done this last night. We should have been here in Philly Friday night, to enjoy all the stuff. So, okay. So then the next day we wake up, get ready for our race. Now, 10-mile race. I don't think to bring a phone charger. It's 10 miles. We're going to be back. We had to check out of the hotel at 11. They wouldn't let us do a late checkout the night before. We had to do it the next day. So we're supposed to be out of our hotel at 11. We're pretty confident we can get 12 o'clock, but we didn't have it the next morning. So we knew we had to be back. Hopefully we could shower, get out of our hotel room, grab some food, and get on our way home to our fams, So I didn't bring a charger. I didn't have any fuel. Like, I was just raw dogging life in general in Philly. So we get in our Uber. I literally had to fucking buy my youngest her Six Flags season pass on the way in the fucking Uber, because Madigan was like, I need to go to Six Flags. Did you get my pass yet? And I was like, oh my God, fuck my life. So did that. So we get to the race again. They said we had to be in our corrals by 6:45 a.m. It was freezing. It was so cold. I pooped like 2 tiny little poops, like not a really satisfying race poop. I was wearing a throwaway shirt, old pajamas that I found. Aren't you proud of me? Like, who am I? I wore fucking a throwaway that was really in my wardrobe for years, and I was fine with it. I was like, I don't wear these pajamas. I can say goodbye in Philly. So I was wearing a tank top underneath. I was scared though. I'm like, I am going to be fucking cold during this race. It was like 45 when we were at the start line. So I was in a corral yellow. The corrals were confusing. There was multiple people in multiple corrals. They said if you were in a faster corral, you could always move back, but there were people moving up. It was a shit show. Donna and Rachel started in the corral behind me. We were lined up at 6:45 and the fucking race started at 7 and I didn't start running until like 8:15. That is a long time to be in a corral. I just did the podcast. You'll hear it's my Instagram friend who just finished her 6th star in Boston, and she was talking about how quick it was for her to get out of the gym to get to the corral and start the fucking Boston Marathon, not the fucking Broad Street run. I don't know what the fuck was happening or if that is usual, but to stand in a corral from 6:45 to 8:15 is a long time. So by the time the race started, I had to pee. I got rid of my throwaway right before the race started, so that was smarter than I did in Tokyo. Remember, I learned my lesson. Sometimes I do that. So I ditched my throwaway and started the race and immediately had to pee because I had peed, but I had peed before we entered our corral. So my whole bladder started making more pee-pee. So the race starts. I passed the first set of porta potties and the line was too long. I was like, I'm not doing that. Second set of porta potties, the line was not as long, but I think there was less porta potties. So I was like, that's not the one. And then I found the third set, which was between mile 2 and 3. And I went there. It was more porta potties, less of a line. And it didn't even, when I looked at my splits later, you don't even know that I peed. So I was really impressed with that. It must have only been like a minute that I was in the line and maybe it took me a couple seconds to pee. But I was really glad that I did because I knew that every time, if I didn't pee, I was going to think about it every time I saw the porta potties because I really did. I did have to pee. The race was great. Lots of support, lots of cheers. I mean, Philly is a great city. It's beautiful. When I was in the corrals, I met a lady and I asked her, because this was her 7th time running it. And I was like, what is your favorite, part of this? And she was like, City Hall is amazing. And so I had that on my brain to look for City Hall. I didn't want to miss it. I knew it was at about mile 5. There's no way that you miss City Hall. You come up, it's right in front of you. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful building. There was just a lot of energy on the course. They gave out water and Gatorade. The support was pretty good. A lot of Philly specific things. So one of those things was Gritty. The Flyers were in the playoffs for hockey. So there was a big game the night before, and Gritty, I guess, is their mascot, if I'm not mistaken. So there's a lot of Gritty costumes, signs. It took me a while at the end, I had to ask Donna who Gritty was. I was like, who the fuck is Gritty? So a lot of that was exciting. Great signs, so many great signs. It was a great race. I felt good. We all ran independently, and this is one. And since I've been talking about Rachel, I'm going to talk some more about Rachel. Rachel, I've run a bunch of races with, and we've always run together. I had the honor of running with her in her first half marathon. She did Hogsback in Connecticut, 2024. And we're coming into this race, and I knew because of the support and the crowds, I knew that that this was going to be a really good experience for her to do by herself. She's, as I said, like, I mean, I know she's done some other races without me. I'm not like trying to be the, messiah of races, but I just thought it would be really good for her to be by herself. But I was scared. I was scared. We had run that half together, and I'm like, I feel like a mama bird, and I'm like abandoning my little baby bird. And I was nervous and I was scared, and I was like, I know she can do it. I know this is good for her, but like sometimes you just like it's hard to let go like when your kids grow up, I don't know why I feel like Rachel's my little bird, but I did in this moment. So I was scared. I was really like, oh God, what kind of a friend leaves her friend, right? But also sometimes you need that independence so that you can turn to yourself for that determination and for that grit and for that, like, let me dig deep and finish this shit. And also get to know people on the course, have those experiences, see the signs. There's something about doing things by yourself sometimes that is really beneficial to you. So I let my little baby bird in her little corral by herself, and said I'd see her at the end. Same with Donna, but Donna's has done a bunch of races, and I've never run with Donna. That was a little bit different. She's not my baby bird. I love her dearly, but there's a different feeling of Rachel, who's my little baby bird. Did the race went well. City Hall was amazing. It was all great. The finish line was great. And then we had, as I said, we didn't bring chargers. So my phone was probably like 22%. And I knew that we had to finish our reel. And I fucking hyperfixate on the most annoying shit possible. So I was like, I gotta finish my reel. I gotta save some of that juice, not only to find my fucking friends, but to finish this reel. I sit down, and luckily they gave foils out because I was fucking freezing. We didn't pack chargers. I didn't pack fuel. We didn't pack anything to be like in a bag for the finish line, like sweatshirts or anything that would have kept us warm. I felt like so underprepared because, again, I just was looking at it like it's a 10-mile race. It's not, I hate to say it's not that big of a deal, but it was a big deal because it's like a world major marathon. That's the mentality you have to go into this race with. It's like a world major marathon. What are you going to pack for afterwards? Bring a fucking phone charger. Have some fucking fuel, perhaps, maybe to bring you to the 10 miles that you want them to bring you down. So I get to the end, and I'm freezing in this foil, waiting for my friends. I have no idea where they are. There's no service. My phone's going to die. Finally find Donna. And they also had no like food at the end. So I got a bag of chips and mini muffins. I was fucking starving. I'd never eat anything because I thought we were starting at 7. We started at 8:15, whatever. So I ate my mini muffins, ate my chips, drank some water, sitting down waiting, finally find Donna, and we hear from Rachel in the group chat that she is like a mile out. So we welcome Rachel, we take some finish line pictures, and all of our phones are going to die, and we need to figure out how the fuck we're getting back to the hotel. I had called when I finished the race. I called the hotel. They gave me the late checkout. So we had to check out at 12. And now it's like I don't even know what time it was at this time. Maybe like 11. Our phones are all dying. We have to be out of the hotel at 12, and all of the roads are closed because this is like the world's biggest fucking race. And so we walk like, I don't know, 3 miles to like get a fucking Uber slash Lyft. And I think Donna got the first one, and the guy canceled on us. And it is the windiest day. It's not like, it ended up being like 60, but it was like, we're in tank tops in the fucking foils, except for Rachel, who was like not cold. And Donna and I were like, what is wrong with you? How are you still hot? But we're standing outside of this like place with bars and restaurants, and we have 2% on our phone. Lyft doesn't go through. I decide to book a Lyft, and then my phone dies. So I have a ride coming for us, but my phone dies, so I can't keep track of where he is. I did take a screenshot of what the license plate was, but then in the meantime, we find a cab, and the cab has space. So we get in the cab, and I'm like, do you have a charger? He had a charger, didn't fit my phone. So then I didn't know what was going to happen with the Lyft. Luckily, what happens is that the ride got canceled. I didn't have to pay the ride fee, but I paid $3 for the cancellation fee. So if that ever happens to you, all is well. So our cab luckily knew Philly really well and was aware of all like the road closures. So he got us back to our hotel at like 12:20. We had to be out of our room at 12. So we bypassed the guy at the front desk because I'm like, shit, he's gonna yell at us. We go upstairs. Our fucking cards don't work because it's past 12. So I had to go back down the stairs, walk of shame, tell the guy, I'm so sorry. I know we're supposed to leave. Can I activate this? We're gonna get the fuck out of the room. We get back in the room. We change, pack up really quick, and walk with all our shit to a delicious Mexican restaurant, have some Mexican. Anna finally got her coffee. All of us were happy. Our bellies were happy. And then we parted ways and left Philly. And I got back to my house at probably like 7:15. All in all, I think I would have enjoyed the race more. First of all, now knowing what I know. Second of all, spending more time in Philly, because all of it was just so chaotic, right? Like, we didn't really have time, like the night before would have been so much fun to like party in Philly. And then the next day, knowing that we had to leave and get out of our hotel, it was just like a mad rush. So we could not enjoy it, I think, as much as we would have enjoyed it otherwise. So would I do the Broad Street run again? I would. I would spend more time in Philly. I would bring a charger. I would pack a fucking sweatshirt. I would not leave immediately after. And I would be wiser because now I know better, right? When you know better, you do better. But I was just so grateful to have that experience. Rachel had a great race. And it was so amazing to see her finish by herself. And Monday, I think it was when she messaged me and said that she really felt proud of herself. So I did the right thing. My little baby bird flew out of her nest and crushed her run and felt proud of herself. And that's what it's all about, my friends. So grateful for both Rachel and Donna and our weekend away in Philly. And, it was a good one. The Philly Broad Street run. Lots of energy, lots of good energy. A great race for a beginner runner, and seasoned runners, just treat it like you treat a world major, because it's a shit show. It's a shit show that's going to take a lot of your day. In the best ways, though, right? In the best ways. I wore my sprinkle pants, which was so fun because the people who saw them or knew who they were like, I fucking love those. And I'm like, yes, I'm living on sprinkles and dreams. You can get those stickers in the show notes. I love them so much. And I'm trying to make them make a tank top for me too, because I really want that. But hopefully this was helpful or just funny or informative, or you enjoyed it. If you did, take a screenshot. Be like Rachel. Fucking always share the podcast, because I'll love you forever. Thank you for being here. I'll see you next week.